Welcome back to Age of Radio Mercury, your home for podcasting and other pop culture news. We are coming towards the end of our day of our UwuCon 2025 mashup with CosTalk Live, Age of Radio Mercury, and then also Geek Collective. We're streaming this across YouTube. We're streaming this on Twitch. We're streaming this everywhere on all three of those different platforms. So make sure that you like and subscribe wherever you're watching it. And if you've ever watched this show in the past, last year at Game On, I guess this year at Game On, myself and Chuck and Alex did some foam fighting. And we had a whole bunch of conversation about foam, and I loved it so much that we're going to continue our foam conversation again with Danielle and Brandon from Husky Hubby Cosplay.
Hello.
How are you both doing so far?
Doing great, actually. It's been a great con. This is our first time at UwuCon, and yeah, we've had an awesome experience being able to see all the other vendors and Artist Alley and just all the events that's been going on this weekend.
That's awesome, and you guys may remember, real quick, and I'll kick it over to you, Danielle,
no
see how you're
worries.
doing. You may remember them from Tucson Comic Con. They actually were dressed as Peach and Bowser, and they did the Mario Kart event with us as well.
We sure did.
So
It was very entertaining.
yes, and Chuck said it's very entertaining. You probably heard him, maybe not. All right, Danielle, so how are you doing? How have you been enjoying yourself?
I have, yeah. It's been a really good con. This is our third day here and three different cosplays this weekend. So, you know, we just love coming out. We love seeing all the other cosplayers and you talking to everyone about their craft and seeing you guys is always a treat.
Yes, amazing. Seeing you both is always a treat as
Yes.
well. So it looks like Brandon's cosplaying is Heimdall.
Yep.
Yes.
Is that correct?
That
Yep,
is
I'm
correct.
Okay.
from the Thor Marvel universe.
Yep, absolutely. And you are cosplaying as Mighty Thor.
Correct,
Which is
yes.
specific to the female version of Thor,
Yes.
is Mighty Thor.
I think as far as the lore goes, there are different, like there is a Lady Thor.
Oh,
but
got it.
Yeah, Mighty Thor is after like Jane Foster gets cancer and then Mjolnir breaks, so
Got it.
that's why it looks broken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she puts it back together and then when she is Mighty Thor, like her cancer's gone.
Got it.
Yep,
Fantastic.
so that's kind of as I understand the lore to be, because spoiler, I haven't read the comics or anything. It's
That's
all the
perfect.
movies.
So, okay, so before we talk about foam,
Yes.
which is a great topic, you guys were I follow you on Instagram.
Yes.
And again, sometimes on Instagram it's hard to tell like time frames
Of
because
course.
we have stuff that's going out from like Tucson right now and even though we're at
Yep.
UwuCon.
You got to bank that content.
Correct. And
Yep.
so my question is, so you were at New York, wait, was it New York Comic Con?
Yes. So we actually, in this past month, have been at 2 different Comic Cons.
Wow.
So we first went to Anime Fiesta in McAllen, Texas. So we were cosplay guests there, and then we
Yep.
came home for 12 hours, and then we flew out for New York Comic Con. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so is this like your first foray going this hard into the Comic Cons and cosplay? Or like are you trying to build that brand? Why go, or you just had the opportunity so you just took advantage of it?
So I work for the public school system, so I had a break, like a week-long break, and so we were planning New York Comic Con, and then we got invited to guest at McAllen the weekend before that.
Wow.
And so it was just like, you know what, I'll take 2 extra days off, we'll hit this hard, we've got cosplays we want to display, and you know, yeah, so it is, to answer your question, it is the first foray into really going that
Yeah.
hard, and then Kyle was like, hey, come to Uwu for AZ Cosplay, and we're like, we'll hop on that. We're doing a trunk or treat next weekend.
My gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then we'll be in Washington the 14th through 17th as guests again, Washington
November.
State
So-
of
Yeah.
November. So
So what's the con for that?
that
That's
one is-
Anime Wonder.
Yep.
Anime Wonder, yep.
Okay, so tell me about I guess Brandon, what do you do for a living? Do you just cosplay for a living?
No, I wish. No, I'm a software engineer, so I work
okay.
with Intech, so yeah.
Nice. Fantastic. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yes.
That is very important information for me to know about things that I'm specifically working on right now. So, really excited about
So
that.
bank that.
Banking that
Yep.
for later.
Yep.
Dustin, take note of that. Write that down. Okay.
Yep.
So to go back to that.
Right? It's just called being friends.
Yeah, just being friends. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Getting to know people.
Networking. Yeah.
The limit of exploitation.
Yeah.
Right? Yep, exactly.
Okay, so tell me a little, again, before we get to the phone talk,
Yes.
real quick, briefly, how did each of you get into cosplay? Was this something that you were doing after you got married, or how did that start up and how does that work?
Hey, you want to
yeah,
start?
so I as far as like cosplaying, I mean, we used to I think everybody dressed up when they were kids for Halloween and things like that. So obviously did that. But when we first got together, and even as an adult, I would dress up for Halloween, but never really anything outside of that day. So it would be one day, and I'd figure out something. But I always think in the back of my head, man, it'd be cool to do stuff outside of just Halloween. So when we first got together, we went to Phoenix Fan Fusion. Well, it was actually called Phoenix Comic Con still back then in 2017. And we went as just a very basic Lucas and Eleven from Stranger Things. That was really popular back then. Of course, it's still now. Last season's coming out soon. But yeah, so hello. So yeah, we did that, and from there it was kind of what
Jumping
triggered
off
it, and
point.
we're like, yeah, let's just continue to do this more. And a couple years later, we did Gang Orca from My Hero Academia. That was her biggest build that she made for
Yep.
me. And then the year after that, we did Alphonse, and that's been pretty much when we really started to get
That
serious
one's
as far
a
as
lot of people.
yeah,
like
that's our
Alphonse.
biggest one. That's our biggest draw, and that's the one that kind of has got us to the status where we were getting a lot more, traction as far as followers, getting asked to be at places and stuff, just because of, how people love Alphonse, and we love him too, of course, and
And
it's
he's a
always a
big
pleasure
build.
to
Yeah.
be him, and yeah, so.
Well, because obviously it was also too at Tucson Comic Con. Jinx, I think, interviewed you when you were as
Yes.
Alphonse
Yeah,
and did the foam talk
yeah,
segment.
Yes,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yep.
And so even to it was yesterday. You
Yes,
were
sir.
Yesterday,
Alphonse.
Your
yep.
days blend together sometimes.
Oh, yeah,
They do, they do.
So I was like, I can't remember when it was.
Yeah.
But you were Alphonse here yesterday, and
Yeah.
every time someone saw you and I was like near them, I could hear them say, "Oh my gosh, it's Alphonse!
Yeah.
It's so
Yep,
cool!"
yep.
So that's a really cool, and that's a lot of foam.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's all foam.
is-
Alphonse is all foam at
completely
this
foam.
moment.
Okay,
yeah.
so last question, then we'll do foam.
Yeah.
The guest piece of it, how does that, do people just reach out to you on Instagram or socials or call you and be like, hey, we saw this, can you come and, what does that mean to guest at a con?
Yeah, so there's applications you can do. When the cons, of course they kind of announce their schedules a year ahead, and then usually they're around the same time. So when a couple months before a actual event happens, they open up applications and you can apply. And of course it's rigorous how many people apply, depending on how big the con is. We've applied at a few of them and never heard anything back. And then some of them we get responses saying, yeah, we'd love to have you. And then depending on how big the con is, they could, comp some of the stuff. Like they could, usually at every con that you guessed that we've done so far, you always get your badges comped as far as for the whole weekend, so you don't have to pay
Got
for
it.
that.
Yep.
But as you escalate up higher and get more notoriety and stuff, and depending on the con and their expenses, they could, fly you out or provide you with the comps for food and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really you apply, kind of put your best foot forward. You show your best
builds
cosplays
and-
and build stuff. And obviously with Alphonse, we've never. In all the years I've done, we've been doing cosplay. That's an unfortunate announcement, but anytime we've done cosplay, we've never seen another Alphonse ever. Not in any con in live. We've met an actual photographer that we actually saw yesterday that actually had done an Alphonse before, but we've never seen him in
In
the
Alphonse,
flesh.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he does an a photographer does an Alphonse.
Got it.
And we met him actually out in San Diego, but we've
One
never
quick
seen his
correction,
Alphonse.
do not take
Yep.
it out of the vendor
I'm gonna let them pass
hall.
real
Yep.
quick.
Once again, we do have liquor in the main vendor hall.
All right, so there, in case you're wondering, there's liquor in the main vendor hall
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
there. If
Yep.
you heard that, okay. So let's talk about some magical foam.
Okay, my favorite.
So you are the foam expert.
I am. I am the creator.
Okay, so you're the creator of it, and what were you saying, Chuck?
I was going to ask a question about
Foam process?
yes.
Okay,
And-
I'm gonna kick it over to you in a moment. Let me just talk this. Okay,
Okay.
so Heimdall is in a lot of foam.
Yes.
Okay, and so go through this. This is a specific type of foam.
Yes.
And then you have to do specific stuff to it.
Yes.
Then you cut it out, and then you put it together. Walk me through that process.
Okay, so it's EVA foam.
What does that
So
mean? So what are different types of foam?
I only work with EVA
Fantastic.
foam. There's also craft.
Just so you guys
yeah.
know, it's
The
floor
floor mats are
It's not
also
the
a
foam that's in your couch. Because I was
No.
like, is that the same foam that's in a couch?
But there
cushion?
is also couch foam in that helmet to make it fit him.
Sweet, there's all
There
kinds
is,
of foam. Okay, so
yes.
let's talk about the
Yes. So
what is it?
EVA.
EVA
Some
foam.
people say EVA, some people say EVA. I've always called it EVA foam.
Okay.
So it is a different thicknesses. So actually, he's got 3 different thicknesses on right now. So this is 10 millimeter foam, and then 4 millimeter foam, and then 2 millimeter foam. So it's the width of the foam, and I know it's hard to see. And depending on what amount of structure you need is kind of how you pick the different sizes of foam. And then before you do anything, you get your pattern or you make your pattern. I make my patterns out of paper and fit them to him.
Okay.
Some patterns I get from other things. Like this one is a pattern that I purchased to do this kind of chess piece with these
Okay.
extra elements, but then I had to size it up because we're Husky Hubby cosplay for a reason, because I have a Husky Hubby. And so typical patterns don't fit him, and so then I have to size them up.
Got it.
And I do that with paper first, and then
So when you say
poster
you do it
board.
with paper,
Yeah.
you have a bunch of paper out and you're
Uh-huh.
cutting it,
Yep.
and then you fit it to him, and then you
Yes.
use that to then put
to
over
trace,
the foam
yep,
and
so
trace it.
the foam comes in a roll, like a 5-foot roll by like 3 feet, and then you trace the pieces on there, and then you use a really sharp X-Acto knife or craft knife to cut them out on your pattern, and then dependent on like how sharp your knife is dependent on how clean your cuts are. So my knife was a lot sharper here, as you can see, than like here.
Oh, so it kind
You
of
see
got
the-
probably duller, or like
Yes,
the
yep.
knife was duller when you did this,
Yep.
or it was a different knife or whatever.
Yep.
So here it's like super smooth.
Super smooth, and there's
then
a little
here
fuzzy.
yeah, okay.
And this was kind of a rush build. And if
So so for the rest, did you
Yeah.
do this one at New York Comic Con?
we did, we had
debuted
this
it
one.
at McAllen in
we
Texas
yeah
the week
we
before.
Yep, debuted it in McAllen and then
Got it.
wore it in New York too.
And being fast, it was because you wanted to do something different.
Yeah,
Yes.
we wanted
went
to
to
debut
it?
something
Yep.
for our first guessing spot in McAllen. So this was the one that we were going to do, and yeah, then of course with life, and we both work full time, so it's
Right.
Unfortunately.
it's hard to kind of get
Those
everything.
freaking jobs are always
Right?
getting in the way.
She was up till 2 a.m. We had a flight at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
To go to
Oh my-
McAllen
Oh yeah,
to finish
get
this.
to
finish
get it all
the, yeah.
finished for
Yeah.
McAllen.
Okay, so we get the cutting down.
Yes, the cutting, and then after that, you have to heat seal it and shape it. So you use a heat gun for that. Be very careful. I have heat-proof gloves.
So when you say heat it to shape it, so like you're cutting it out, so it's obviously in the shape.
Yeah, it's
like,
flat.
Well, but it's flat.
It's flat,
So
yep.
then you heat it so that you can mold it to be
yes,
able to
yep.
bend.
So
I
you
guess.
heat it so that it can mold a little bit better around.
Got
and
it.
so in Arizona, it can be hard too because the heat that we just have outside can misshape it.
It's hot
And
here.
also,
Yeah.
these were on 4 different airplanes. Packed into checked baggage, so you know it's hard to keep shape when you got to get shoved in a bag.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So then you do that, and then you shape it, and then you use Plastidip, which is a sealer that gives it kind of a tough, rubbery exterior. And then you spray paint it after, and then you let it sit for a while, air out, so you're not breathing in those spray paint fumes. And then you figure out your attachments. So. Heimdall is all attached with Velcro, so you can see.
Got it.
Yeah, these Velcro pieces here. So this is industrial strength Velcro because regular Velcro, like this is Home Depot Velcro.
There's different types of
There
Velcro.
are
You know what
also
that
different.
means?
Yep,
Velcro top.
Velcro top.
Okay, continue.
Yes.
Velcro is velvet.
Is it really?
I did not.
Fantastic.
I didn't know that either.
That's interesting.
And if
Wow.
you can't hear Chuck, he gave us useless knowledge about Velcro until we have Velcro talk,
Yes.
and then it'll be
or unless
important
you're at
knowlage.
trivia.
Or unless you're at trivia
Right,
one
what
night,
does
and
Velcro mean?
Velcro is velvet in French.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh, so hold on. So I think I might have missed it when you said
Yeah.
it. You already had spray painted it at this point.
Yes, it was already spray
So
painted.
this, you did. How do you spray? It's just with a can.
Yep, I just
With
use a rattle can. Some
Okay.
people, I'm not an airbrush artist yet. That's on the list. But yeah, I just rattle can it.
Is the reason why you're not an airbrush artist because you don't have the airbrush yet? All right.
Yeah.
So Brandon, I don't know how to tell you this,
Right.
but if you want to up your game,
Then we gotta
you
just-
have to get your wife
an airbrush,
airbrush.
right? There we go. I mean, we
Just
did
that
just
easy.
get a 3D printer, so we did. That's what
Man, you're
the
going
helmets
hard.
and stuff. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Okay, continue, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine, but that's a good little plug. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I got to plug that in
Yeah,
there.
right? But yeah, so Velcro is an attachment. I've also used other like on my bracer, it's hot glue
Okay.
on these elastic straps. I don't know if you guys can see it.
So you can do hot glue, you can do Velcro.
You can do-
to do what needs
yep.
to be connected to the
Yeah,
foam.
Alphonse has some buckles on him to, Alphonse has a harness system inside and some buckles to be able to attach that. There's magnetic snaps, there's magnets, there's regular snaps. So
That's awesome.
yeah, there's a lot of different,
Chuck, what was your foam question?
But I was
Yeah.
basically thinking, is it kind of similar to like Pepakura?
yes, very
What is
similar.
the word
so,
that he just said?
Pepakura-
What was his question?
so the question was, is foam patterning similar to Pepakura?
What is that?
Okay, pepakura is like paper crafting, and
Fantastic.
so yes, it's like printed, and it's not origami, but it's also how to make like organic shapes out of paper. So there's scoring, like where you don't make a full cut, but then you're able to fold
Yeah.
the paper, leaves and flies, and so you've got these little pieces on the end that connect the. Think about an envelope flap.
Got it. Okay.
So it would be like take one side has an envelope flap and the other side is flat. So when you put it on, it makes a joint.
Okay.
And so there are a lot of people who take pepakura patterns because there's a lot more of those, and they scale them up for human size, and then that's what they translate to the EVA foam patterns
it.
for. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the helmet. The helmet's plastic,
Yes, the
and it's
helmet-
got foam in it as well.
Yes,
So
the
tell me
helmet-
about the
You wanna
creation
take
of
it off
this.
and show the
Okay.
foam
Can
inside
you
of it?
take your helmet
Oh,
off? Because I can't.
I
get it
can't
off.
get
I
to
got
it.
it.
Nope.
Yep.
How am I going to do this? Right like this?
Yeah,
Yep,
just like that, yep.
that.
Straight up?
Yep,
Yep.
straight up.
All right.
Perfect. Okay.
Chuck, do you want to show some of this? Oh,
Yeah.
The
we
foam
do have
inside of it.
couch foam.
The couch foam
Two
is,
kinds
yeah.
of foam in this foam talk
Yes,
segment.
so that
Can't
upholstery.
get enough foam.
Yep, that upholstery foam in there is so that it sits right on his head. And again, so this had some damage on the airplanes. That's what all the duct tape you saw in there is for.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Very
Yep,
good.
you just sit it down.
Yeah, just like that, yep.
You think that, but then he's missing an eye.
Right? Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay.
And so the foam inside the helmet helps it to sit right on his head
Yeah.
because there's, again, I had to
Okay.
scale it up.
Yep.
And so there's, when you're doing helmets, you want to make sure you're scaling them up uniformly. So like if I had to make it wider for him,
Yep.
then it would also be taller, but his head is not shaped like that. And
Right.
so the upholstery foam in there helps it sit in the right space it needs to sit in. Yep.
Got it. Perfect. So, but then like was that 3D? So was
The whole thing is 3D printed.
okay. So
Yeah.
you got use of
Yes,
your 3D
we
printer.
did, yeah.
Yeah.
So his
And this is
sword-
3D printed, or is
That
that?
is 3D printed also.
Yeah.
So this,
Oh, sorry.
a lot of times you do 3D printing in areas that you want more detail in.
Correct.
So like this, I could never do I could do it by hand, but it
But
would
it would
not
take a
look-
lot of time.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
That would be
That would be tedious.
Super
Very good word
tedious.
for that.
What was it, like 3 hours, I think, on the 3D printer? Or was it?
For that guy?
Yeah.
No, that guy was an hour
Oh, an
because
hour,
it's
so yeah.
so
So okay,
thin.
so
Oh,
to
yeah.
print it took about an hour.
Yeah.
Yes,
and,
yeah.
But if you did that by hand, it would be multiple
It would be
hours.
multiple
Yeah.
hours.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh! And then these were 3D printed as
Yeah,
well.
the
Yes, the
gauntlets are 3D
gauntlets were
printed, yeah.
3D printed.
So man, you really got that 3D printer. And
Oh,
you
we
started
did, yeah.
right out the gate.
Mjolnir is 3D printed.
So how did you do the cracks in it?
The cracks were a file, so I found a file that had the cracks in it already. So it
Oh, so when
prints-
this printed it out, it printed
It
them out.
printed it
Can I
with the
have
cra-
him
yeah,
show
you
this to
can-
the
yeah.
thing? And then you created the light.
you
You
were, yeah,
created the
so,
electricity.
Yep, you can turn it off and on.
Hey, I'm worthy. You're worthy. Let's see. Don't drop it.
Oh my god, I did not do that.
It's all right.
Oh my gosh, I didn't warn you. That's hilarious. So you can see in there.
She says don't drop
Oh
That
my
is-
God!
no,
It's not
you're
broken.
fine.
It's
You're
not
fine.
broken.
It's not broken.
Are you sure?
So those
Okay.
batteries. So that with the light rig in there.
Yeah. So Chuck is not
It
worthy.
is it is pressure fit in there. Yeah, you're fine. It's not broken, I swear.
I mean, it's
Good content. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Okay. Are
yeah.
you sure you're good? Okay.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
All right.
It
Cool.
happens,
I
so-
feel terrible.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that piece, and this is another like crafting tip. That piece is made to come off,
but
not
be
quite
thrown.
that easily.
Not be thrown across the room.
Yeah, because
weight shifted because like
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
the yeah,
it
correct.
shifts,
Yeah.
Battery
because the
set-
battery
set in
pack
there, yeah.
in there and the lights in there, they're just AA batteries. Yep.
So then you did all the electrical stuff. That's
Yes,
inside
all
of
the
this,
electrical
and
stuff
then you
in
put
there.
the
Yep,
switch.
and then the
cut this
switch.
out and came.
Yep.
Wait, was this whole part of the 3D
It
printing?
was not. So I had to get like whatever special drill bit tool they have to like cut holes in wood, and I found one that was the size of that switch, and so I had to drill into the foam and then put that in there.
Yeah. And then this is also 3D printing.
This
I'm
is
assuming.
also 3D printed and then hand painted. So I used the chrome spray paint on it, but then all of like those lines and things in there were hand painted.
So when you first started your cosplaying, did you just do like closet cosplaying, or did you just go out the gate with foam, or because foam is I guess one of my questions
Yeah.
is there like a tier of like I know like Kyle started with 3D printing right away. That was how he started. A
Yeah.
lot of people start doing with foam.
Yeah.
A lot of people maybe do closet cosplays. How was your foray into it, and how has it gotten more advanced as you
Yeah,
go
so
on?
we started first with closet cosplays. Like Brandon said, we were Heimdall.
No,
We're
Lucas.
currently Heimdall. We were Lucas in 11. I've
Okay.
said Heimdall and Mighty Thor like 40 times today. So we were Lucas in 11, which was more of a closet cosplay. And
Okay.
then there was a lapse because of COVID. And then the next Phoenix Fan Fusion that we went to, Brandon was like, hey, I want to be Gang Orca, which is the big whale one. And I was like, all right, looks like I'm going to figure out how to do that. And I've been crafting my whole life, so I've made things with cardboard and all of that,
Okay.
but started looking at things, and foam was going to be the way to do it. I found originally his first version of Gang Orca was a pattern, a foam pattern. And then the second version, the version that is on our Instagram now, that one was all hand patterned by me. So I started doing the foam piece, doing the sewing, and so like I sewed, I've forayed into a lot of it, I guess to say, and every time we do a new build, I add something.
Okay.
So
Is your chest plate foam
yes,
too?
it is foam too.
Okay.
Yeah, so it,
Oh wow.
yeah, so it, yeah. Yeah, if you, just from the bottom,
I don't
yep,
want
you're
to
good.
grab
You're
break
good.
anything.
You're
That's
good.
the thing I'm afraid now of,
Right?
because Chuck dropped the Thor hammer.
Yeah, so this chest plate in,
True, partially.
yeah, the chest plate and the belt are all foam. This is like pleather, as is his. And then these pieces are 3D printed. So these pieces can come off and they're Velcro, and so these elements are 3D printed.
So cost-wise, I know the 3D printers, I'm sure they've come down in cost since they first
Yeah.
came out.
That's the only reason why we got into one.
Oh, because
Because they came in.
Oh, yeah.
But like for the plastics and things,
Yeah.
the stuff that they use for the printing pieces of it,
Yeah, oh,
right?
I can take
Is
that
that
back to you.
expensive? Like the cost to
Filament
do
and stuff?
Yeah, the filament.
Our 3D printer was about $300, which we felt was pretty good.
Oh, that's really
yeah,
good.
Yeah,
And it made all this?
It did,
Yeah, it did.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we have one that's more plug and play. So like
Yeah.
we didn't have to do it self levels. Yeah. Yep. I did not want to have to deal with leveling it and stuff. And then filament for a roll is around $15, $20. And
So
I
to
think-
do something like this, how much do you think it costs from with the filament wise?
with the filament wise, I'd say that Mjolnir took about a roll of filament. So
Okay.
yeah, Mjolnir took about a roll of filament, and
So
I think
15, 20
yeah,
bucks.
15, 20, and then it was like 30 hours of printing, I think.
But then you have to paint it.
yeah, so
sand it, yeah.
the
Get into
biggest
that.
thing with 3D printing,
It's-
as I roll my eyes,
Is
you
the
were
s-
in our panel yesterday, so you know it's sanding.
Sanding.
So,
Yeah, but those guys down at the Halo place, I think, they loved sanding stuff. They were talking. Yeah. So last night at the
no.
Well, it can be, I guess,
Last
I
night
can
at the
understand it can be like kind of, what is it called?
Therapeutic.
Yeah,
Cathartic,
yeah.
in the showcase last night, I think it was Halo, but they were Marines.
Yeah.
So, but I don't remember them having Halo.
It was probably Warhammer
Or was it Helldivers?
Maybe.
or Helldivers.
Maybe it was Helldiver.
Yeah, I think
but,
it was
but anyways, they were talking about the weaponry,
Yeah.
and it was hours and hours and hours
Oh,
of
yeah.
sanding,
Oh. Yeah.
and they loved it.
Oh.
So they were super
They're
excited.
psychopaths.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking.
Because yeah, it's a lot, and
It is.
especially when things are detailed, and because I do all our crafting. Brandon runs all our social media and
Yeah.
does a lot of that stuff, and he's a wonderful model for all
I was just
of
gonna
the
say,
big
he does
builds.
the modeling
Yeah,
and the
he-
bill, like
Yeah.
wears them and
yeah,
stuff.
he wears them.
So,
He suffers in Alphonse when it's like 1,000,000 degrees.
Yeah.
do you think that there's going to be a place where you try to do more 3D printing than doing the foam? Do you think the 3D printing will start to outdo the foam?
I don't. I thought about that, but then in 3D printing, there's a lot of kind of finiteness with sizing. So, like,
Got
if
it.
you
Yeah.
don't size it right,
Then
it's
you gotta-
not gonna fit. So,
Got it.
then you've spent 43 hours. 72 hours on something collectively that you're not going to be able to wear, whereas with foam it is more forgiving.
Yeah.
And I'm also more of a hands-on crafter, so I like being able to add elements and things to it after, and it's also heavier.
Yeah.
It's warmer and it's heavier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
this
is.
helmet compared to my Alphonse one, that is UVA foam, is light years heavier. This is much heavier, and it's a lot different than then walking. I can see it better with Heimdall because of course the faceplate is pretty open, but the weight of this helmet, just because it's plastic, is much more, and this wouldn't be able to be. I mean, we've put it on 2 planes and it's broken both times. So so
like the foam you can kind
yeah,
of...
Yeah,
with
the
Alphonse we
foam
get his helmet
squishes.
on and it's fine. It's mushed a little bit because it's foam, but we just reshape it and then it's good to go. But we don't ever have to worry about it breaking in transit because it's not plastic. So
Yeah.
it's a
Did you have a
give and
question,
take.
Chuck?
Yeah.
Things like what they would do, have you thought about like maybe jigging or 3D printing more?
Yes.
Like big pieces, but like
Yeah, talk about
Yeah.
the Bowser shell. What we did with
Yeah,
that
so
one.
Oh,
real
the
quick,
Bowser
just real
shell,
quick,
yeah.
Chuck asked if they could if they were going to be doing into 3D printing more,
Yep.
and then kind of get better at incorporating.
yes,
Yeah, okay.
yep,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, I see. Incorporating it in different ways.
Yeah, so we actually do, when we were commentating the Mario Kart, we were Bowser and Peach, and Bowser's shell is primarily foam, but certain shapes are hard to get right in foam.
And then you can do those with the 3D
Yep,
printing.
so his spikes on his Bowser shell are all 3D printed.
Yeah.
And so they're actually made to be removable so that we can take them off and get that on planes, because getting a Bowser shell on a plane is not going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So, last question for you, and thank you so much for doing
Absolutely.
this with me and doing foam talk. And we'll do much more foam talk.
Foam talk!
Foam
Foam
talk!
talk!
Okay. And what was the foam fighting? Convention foam fighting!
Convention foam fighting.
We just need to get them to sponsor Foam Talk moving forward, and
Right.
or they should have been at this convention doing foam fighting, and we could have
Right.
had them. What are your plans for your next cosplays that you're working on?
Okay, so next we are going to do what we consider more to be a civilian cosplay. Like, we'll be able to move around in it and see it. And I also only have like a month to get it done.
Fantastic.
But yeah, just love it.
What is it gonna?
It's
Or
gonna
you will,
be.
or do you want to share? If not,
Oh,
yeah,
no,
okay, absolutely.
we've already announced it.
Okay,
so,
what is it gonna be?
yeah, the Stone Hashira Gyome and the Mist Hashira Muichiro from Demon Slayer.
Okay, that
Yes.
sounds like
I
that sounds so
getting
familiar.
there. Yeah.
It sounds so familiar. Where have I heard that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Stone Hashira is the big guy
Yeah, yeah,
who cries all the time.
Yep.
So I'm going to incorporate some hot glue tears.
Nice.
Yeah, so not going to put the hot glue directly on
We're
him.
gonna
Thank
hot
God.
glue Brandon.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
yeah.
he's going to
It's gonna be
cry
permanent
for
crying.
real. It's
Yep.
permanent
Forever.
tears. Forever.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's going to be an element I'm going to try in there.
And that's going to be the one you're going here soon.
That's gonna
Anime
be
Wonder. Yep.
Anime Wonder.
November,
that's-
yeah.
Yep,
Yep, in
November.
November,
Yep.
yeah.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
just gonna throw a little bit of a loop in for you because it's a different kind of foam. But have you ever thought about utilizing expansion foam?
I have. So,
So real quick, Chuck asked, have they ever
Oh, yeah.
thought about utilizing expansion foam?
yes.
What's expansion foam?
So expansion foam is like what they use in kind of like spray insulation, right? Yeah. And so you spray it in and then it expands. So it gets bigger, it can
Okay.
fill, yeah, and it's not heavy.
Could
That's
we
the
just do
thing.
that in this room?
Right, fill it with expansion. Then we'd all get stuck.
No.
It'd be like. it'd
Okay,
be
so
like
where do I buy? Oh, this is what we need to do. Where do I buy expansion foam? We'll put a little block and we'll do it live with you on the air for whatever
it.
reason we
You
want
know,
to do
I
it
can tell you
for.
a reason because there is something that I've been wanting to use it for. You can make duct tape mannequins of yourself.
Yeah.
And so I
What?
actually, oh yeah, on our Instagram, I have the process of making Brandon 2.0.
Yeah.
But Brandon 2.0 is filled with cushion foam.
Okay.
And like stuffing, so he's probably like 40 pounds.
Wow.
Like it's like a 40-pound pillow, and I should have used expanding foam because it's more rigid, so it holds its shape better,
Yeah.
and it's definitely not as heavy.
That is awesome. So there's definitely going to be more foam talk. All right. So any last thoughts, and where can people find you on social media?
You want to go?
Oh, sure, yeah.
On last thoughts?
Last thoughts. If you're thinking about getting into cosplay, whether it's foam, 3D printing, obviously we're doing foam talk, so we would say lean to foam because it's really a lot of an easier barrier of entry, I think, as far as for it being pliable and being able to make adjustments to it, as opposed to, you do a 30-hour print and then it doesn't fit or something and it's scaled wrong, and or the print just fails. You're kind of stuck with wasting all that time. Whereas you can put 30 hours into foam and manipulate it in a way that'll make it work. Doing that, and then that's my only thing as far as my final thoughts. And yeah, we're Husky Hubby Cosplay. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube now.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah.
Danielle, last thoughts?
Yeah, just our biggest tenets are that cosplay is for everyone. Size, skill level, time level. Cosplay is for everyone. So if you're ready to do it, if you want to do it, even if you don't feel ready to do it, just do it.
Yep.
There are people out there
Just
that
do
will
it.
love it. Yep.
Yeah.
Someone has a slogan like that. Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Cosplay is for everyone and Wu-Tang is for the children.
Cosplay is for everyone, and Wu-Tang is for the children. So make sure to check that out. And again, this is Mercury, your home for podcasting and pop culture news. We are live here at UwuCon doing a mashup live stream with us, CosTalk Live and Geek Collective. And we will be back a little bit later to do the closing ceremonies for UwuCon because it has come to an end.
Aw.
I hope that you enjoyed the live stream. I hope that you enjoyed the conversation about Foam Talk with
Talk.
Danielle and Brandon.
Thank you so much
and
for having
with
us.
that, my name is Jeremy, and as I always say, be thankful, grateful, and kind, and we'll talk with you guys soon. Bye.
Later.
Bye.